So starting off this year, I've been thinking a lot about the types of content I want to share. And one of the most common things that I know people don't ask, but really want to know is what makes a successful chiropractor? What are some of the characteristics? What are some of the skill sets that makes someone successful versus someone who is not as successful? And I think that's a really important question. So I thought I'm going to dedicate a few of these videos over the next series on just this comment. So I'm going to do like one tip per episode, and within these tips I'm going to expand on the concept. So let's start off with like the first one. The first thing that I think of that makes it successful, I usually don't have, they're not in any particular order, but this one I kind of feel like this is probably the number one, and I could be wrong, but we'll see in the next couple of videos. So pay attention and see what the other ones are. So the first one comes off the bat is number one is, in order for anybody to become successful, I think it really comes down to, as if over the hundreds and thousands of chiropractors that I've actually come across personally and just observing, the common trait that I find that the successful chiropractors have is actually had nothing to do with their philosophy, have nothing to do with their technique they use. And I know this is going to push a lot of buttons, but the reality is they're successful people on the whole entire spectrum of chiropractic. And I guess obviously it depends on how you define success. But I'm not talking about numbers. I'm just talking about happiness and enjoyment in practice, and also the success of being able to communicate and influence their patient base and the people that follow them towards a better understanding of chiropractic, that they actually embody, that chiropractic becomes a part of their lifestyle. That's how I define success. It's not always about numbers. And so when it comes to the number one thing I think is really important, that's not across philosophy and everything else, is actually their reason of being a chiropractor in the first place. So really it's about knowing your why. Why is that so important? Well, I fundamentally find that the people that are constantly striving to be better, constantly have a never-ending process of becoming successful in their own right as a chiropractor, they all fundamentally know why they are a chiropractor in the first place, or why are they in business, or why are they in practice. And that fundamental why is, I guess I need to define that. That why is, they're successful in terms of happiness and everything else. That why has to be strong enough that they're willing to do certain things that they're uncomfortable with, because the why overrides their discomfort. In addition to that, their why usually is usually affecting other people, like meaning that it's not about themselves, it's actually outside of ego, which is more about others and the service of others. So the why has to be, so there's two things I just mentioned now, it's really important. I'll rephrase that. Number one, the why has to be strong enough that you're willing to sacrifice, right, yourself through pain and discomfort to achieve it, which is like being on purpose. Number two, that why is in the service of others. And so I think there's a deep fundamental importance around those two elements, because those two elements changes the direction, gives you a direction, gives you a sense of purpose, and gives you a sense of making sure you have enough motivation, inspiration each day to act towards it. Now, you're not always going to get it right. They don't always get it right, but it's something that can fall back onto, that when things are not going well, they're always going to be pulled by it. The third element of that, of knowing the why, is that it is remembered or reinforced on a regular basis, which means that they don't just set it up once and then forget about it. It's something that they remind and review over and over again, and that could be daily, could be every week, every month, or whatever consistency that it takes for that person. But they know their why, they know their sense of purpose, and there's a level of not just knowing what it is, not even just believing it, but they own it. There's a level of knowing to believing to owning it, owning that why, that their sense and their soul, everything about them believes it so wholeheartedly that why drives them towards success. And that's, if you look at the word success and what I just defined, success is someone who's happy, someone who is doing what they love to do, someone who's been able to influence a whole bunch of people to really get them towards their better version of themselves. They're successful. Well, how do they do that? Well, they have to own it. They have to own their why. They have to know their why. They have to utilize that why to have the sense of purpose to do certain things that most people would find uncomfortable to do, and that is one of the main reasons that what makes people successful. So that's my first reason. In the follow-up videos, I would do more. I'm Laurence Tham, your chiro coach. I hope this has been helpful. I would love for you to help you define what is your why. Go spend some time to ask, why am I doing this? And there's an exercise that I do, is called the 5 whys I do with my clients. Whatever the answer you come up with, ask yourself why. So say, why you're a chiropractor? Because I want to help people. Well, why helping people is important to you? And whatever answer that comes in, ask another why. And then whatever answer that, ask another why. And do that 4 or 5 times and see what the crux of it, what's the essence of that why? Because that may give you some clues to your purpose of why you do what you do and why you should show up every morning and serve your clients. I hope this has been helpful. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.